Hello and welcome to Larry Talks. I'm your host, Dr. Larry Dean Doyle, and I'm really glad you're here. Whether you're listening during your commute, a quiet moment at home, or somewhere in between, thank you for choosing to spend this time with me. So take a breath, get comfortable, and let's get into today's session. Today's session is how money erodes the rule of law, not just in America, but everywhere. In session 1, I laid out the foundation of the rule of law, what it is, why it matters, and how it protects ordinary people from arbitrary power. Today, I want to take that one step further, because the erosion of the rule of law is not just an American problem, it's not a partisan problem, it's not even a political problem in the way most people think. It's a global problem, and the common denominator is simple. Money has become more powerful than law. When money becomes the gatekeeper of justice, justice becomes conditional. And once justice becomes conditional, it becomes negotiable. That is the beginning of collapse. You can see this pattern in wealthy nations, developing nations, democracies, and authoritarian states. The details change, but the structure is always the same. Institutions drift from duty to revenue, rights become privileges, access becomes pay to play, and the law, slowly, quietly, becomes optional. This is not theory, it's observable behavior. Let me give you a simple example from the Philippines because it illustrates the point with painful clarity. If you're confined in a hospital in the Philippines and you cannot pay your bill, you cannot leave the hospital. It doesn't matter if you're healed, doesn't matter if the doctor has cleared you, doesn't matter if you have family waiting for you at home. If you can't pay, you stay. The hospital becomes a debtor's prison. This is not failure of medicine. It's not failure of logistics. It's failure of law because the law allows money to override liberty. And once society accepts that trade, the rule of law is already in retreat. Now, some people might hear that and say, well, that's over there. That's not us. But the truth is, the United States has its own versions of the same pattern, just dressed in different clothing. Yesterday, we walked through several examples. When FOI agencies delay, obstruct, or price records out of reach, they're not protecting transparency, they're monetizing it. The law says the public has the right to know. The practice says only if you can afford it. When veterans are denied benefits not because the evidence is lacking, but because acknowledging the truth would cost the government money, that money is overriding law. The money is overriding duty. The money is overriding justice. Administrative policy has begun replacing statutory obligation. When agencies invent internal policies that contradict the law and then enforce those policies as if they were the law, that is institutional drift driven by convenience, cost, and self-protection. These are not isolated incidents. They're symptoms of the same disease. This is a universal mechanism. Across nations, the mechanism is identical. Money becomes the gatekeeper, healthcare becomes pay to leave, courts become pay to access, records become pay to reveal, and rights become pay to exercise. When institutions shift from moral duty to financial incentive, hospitals prioritize revenue over recovery, agencies prioritize budgets over truth, governments prioritize stability over accountability, corporations prioritize profit over compliance. Citizens learn the wrong lesson. They learn that honesty doesn't matter, evidence doesn't matter, rights don't matter, only money matters. And once people believe that, the rule of law is no longer a shield. It becomes a suggestion. Now, why does this matter in America? America is not immune. It's not exempt. America is not protected by its wealth or its history. The rule of law is not self-sustaining. It requires constant defense, constant vigilance, and constant correction. And when institutions drift, when accountability weakens, when money becomes the arbitrator of outcomes, the drift accelerates. This is what we're living through right now. Countries have a moral line. Every society has a moral line it must not cross. In the Philippines, the line was crossed when a healed patient could be held hostage for payment. In the United States, the line is crossed when a veteran can be denied justice because the truth is expensive, a citizen can be denied records because transparency is inconvenient, an agency can ignore statutory law because policy is easier, and when the government can rewrite history because acknowledging it would cost money. These are not administrative errors, they're moral failures. This is a call to awareness. The erosion of the rule of law is not loud. It does not announce itself. It does not arrive with sirens or headlines. It arrives quietly through exceptions, delays, fees, policies, and excuses. It arrives when institutions learn they can substitute money for duty. It accelerates when citizens stop noticing. Session 2 is about noticing, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And once you understand the pattern, you can begin to push back. The rule of law is not a document, it's a culture. And cultures are defended by people who refuse to accept the unacceptable. As I wrap up today's episode, I hope this session gave you something to think about, and maybe even something to carry with you into the day. If this session resonated with you, please feel free to share it with someone who might need to hear it, or who may be interested in this topic. And don't forget to click the follow icon so you don't miss future episodes and sessions.